Adigang Adigung Adiguna. This means that humans should not rely on and boast about the advantages they have. Adigang means strength, Adigung means power, and Adiguna means intelligence. One of the treasures of the Javanese are proverbs, which are commonly used as advice about life, in order to be able to tread it more wisely. In Javanese there are the terms Adigang, Adigung, and Adiguna. According to Javanese philosophy, people should not have these three qualities. Adigang in terms of language means people who have excess strength and power, hold the reins in society. One should not boast of his strength and power. The Adigung is a person who boasts of wealth, lineage, and other majesty, while Adiguna is a person who prides himself on his intelligence, ability, and intelligence. Have advantages that others do not have, whether in power, wealth, or knowledge, does not mean that we can boast about it. Because the advantages that we have are not to be proud of or be proud of. Because these advantages are a loan from God and will be held accountable within the hereafter. Therefore, when we have power or hold one of the controls of society, we must not feel superior to others so that we oppress them. Instead, we must be fair and prudent. Likewise, when having excess wealth, nobility and offspring, or even intelligence and ability, all of that can be used as a means of gratitude and used to help fellow creatures. These advantages can also be a lesson for us to continue to be introspective. Do not let the existing advantages be misused unwisely. On the contrary, by making all of this a place for self-introspection, we will not easily blame others and can always introspect ourselves. The meaning of Adigang, Adigung, Adiguna is advice not to be an arrogant human being. This advice is usually addressed to leaders or people who have power in ancient times. In the midst of today's progress, Indonesian people must not forget their ancestral culture. One of the local wisdoms in the archipelago is local language and culture. Meaning of Adigang, great, Adiguna. Based on the journal exploring the value of local wisdom of Javanese culture through expressions, Bibasan, Salaka, and Parabasa, by Niwayan Sartini. The regional language is one of the languages controlled by almost all members of the community who live in an area. The Javanese language as a product of Javanese society reflects Javanese culture. The nature and behavior of the Javanese people can be seen through their language or language activities. Likewise, the development of Javanese culture, it enriches the Javanese language in all aspects. Proverbs, expressions, freedom, and salaka as a form of language use reflect the nature and personality of the wearer. Adigang, Adigung, Adiguna are verbal utterances that are a reflection of the desire to have a humble nature. In addition, it describes a sense of not wanting to hurt other people's hearts in speaking or acting. The advice is intended so that everyone has a humble nature. Generally, parents always remind the adage to anyone, either in the form of giving advice, warning, or criticism. Asia Adigang, Adigung, Adiguna contain advice that contains so that people are not arrogant. It is hoped that with this expression, people who listen to it can grow and develop with a humble attitude towards others. A person's arrogance is likened to the nature of an elephant that relies on its strength, Adiguno, the nature of a snake that relies on its venom, Adiguno, and the nature of a deer that relies on its jumping ability, Adiguno. Quoted from the journal Javanese Local Wisdom as the base for leadership character by Wari Jadarayu. Javanese people are considered to be very concerned with the character of Antapasur Valley Mana, humble. So it is not appropriate for a leader to have an arrogant character. As human beings, each person must admit that life requires other people. Therefore, a person should stay away from the character of boasting of his strength, greatness, and authority even though he is a leader. Adigung, Adigung, Adiguna are warnings to anyone who has advantages, strength, position, or power, so as not to act arbitrarily to others, especially to small people. People who have power, position, and power need to understand that all of these things are mandates that must be carried out properly and carried out fairly. The higher position, breadth of knowledge, and greater power do not make us more arrogant in front of others. The wise man realizes more and more that the higher his position, the more visible his shortcomings. It's better to imitate the science of rice. The more you duck, the fuller you are. This means that the older a person is, the higher his knowledge, the greater his power, the more humble he should be. It is also an attitude that needs to be based on the belief that a person still has many shortcomings.